I'll wait till she.
I'm live. Hey, look at this. This is great. I can't believe it. I did it the first time. Hello, everyone. Let's see. I see Marcia, your first one. My goodness. That's awesome. Susan, and there's Marcia, and back to back. Love her music. Let's see. Some of these names, you got to forgive me, but let's see. Cat Bubba, and there's Mike Fitzpatrick. Welcome, everyone. We'll give it a couple minutes. And can you hear me all right? Should. This thing is awful loud. That's you. There you go. See? All right. We're gonna give it just a couple minutes. I'm early, yeah. Oh, I thought I'd start out by playing my guitar. This is the guitar that I built. I thought I'd start out by playing. Is this thing? Can you turn your volume down on that? Yeah, there you go. Well, we got to get ourselves together here. Hold on one second. Can you turn your volume down on that? We got to get ourselves together here. There, how's that? Has everybody got their cup of tea? All right, this is awesome. Oh, look at that. Emilio Garza. Ha, that's awesome.
There's Bob Dunmeyer.
Bob Dunmeyer. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I got a couple things I wanted to do today, and I'm going to leave it up to you. But what I wanted to do actually was to start out by, well, answering some questions if you have questions. But also, I have 3 12 strings, and I am so curious as to what your opinion would be. And I thought as we got into this, that it would probably take about 1 minute for each guitar just to strum it and then let you tell me which one. Yeah, let's shut that door. We have dogs here. They have no manners whatsoever. I don't know how to teach them to have manners. Okay. So I thought what I would do is do a blind test. You won't see the guitars because, we sometimes have our prejudices about the names, right? But I thought, well, I'll play it and then you can tell me which one you think sounds the best and we could do a little poll. Now, I know there's a way on here to create a poll, but they said the button was on the bottom and I don't see it. So I'm not going there. I'm just going to let you write it in the comments. What do you think? Do you think that would work? Is anybody against doing that? Do you have anything else you'd rather me do? I do have a couple other guitars here I could show you. Well, nobody's saying anything.
Somebody said Martin.
Huh?
Bob Dunmeyer said
Martin. Oh, the Martin guitar? Martin. I don't have a Martin. This is not a Martin, and I don't have a Martin in the room with me right now. I have one out in the other room. It's an M21, and it's an awesome guitar. It really is. It's actually almost a jumbo, but the difference on it is the fact that it has a very thin body. So I think we're getting close to, well, we're 6:01. How many people do we have on here so far? We'll give it a couple more minutes.
47.
I'm not used to playing this guitar, and I built it. The neck is too wide, and so when I'm playing it, It's okay, kind of. I have to play it for a while to get my fingers from getting mixed up with the strings. I don't know if that ever happens to you switching guitars out, but this one has just a little bit wider neck. When I built it, I wanted a parlor size, and you can see this is about as small as they can get. Oh, they probably could get smaller. And I put redwood on the top. This is a solid redwood top. And
Someone's asking if you built it from scratch.
Yes, well, there's some things that I didn't scratch, but it's built from scratch. This redwood top was just a board, and it had to be planed and brought down to a certain specification. And one thing about working with redwood is that it shatters. It is not an easy wood to work with, but oh, it's so beautiful and so mellow. It's wonderful. I have one other guitar that's made by Kevin Corcoran that's actually made of redwood, and I just love that guitar. The sound is amazing. But this one here, I built it, but I did not do the inlaid work. That I sent out. I sent my just the fingerboard, the part that goes onto the neck, and also the plate. And I sent it to a guy by the name of Paul Bordeaux in New York, and he's a very famous artist, and he's very well known, and he does a lot of work for the top guitar builders. And he actually, I gave him what I wanted, and this is what he came up with. Isn't that beautiful?
They're asking if you are a luthier.
I only built one guitar, so I'm not claiming it. But I learned enough so that, when I get things that come along that are kind of messed up, I can work on them and get them into pretty good shape, So I know enough, but it is a lot of work.
They're asking about the 12-string comparison.
Oh, do you want?
Several people have asked.
That they asked her, you want to do that comparison? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll do it then. I want to do it too. I actually had it all set up. I went through and I tuned every single guitar, and I don't know if they're going to stay in tune because one of them's vintage. So I'm only going to give you that much, though. And then what I thought I would do, I know I'm skipping around a little bit here. I apologize for that. But this is kind of a free for all. So I want you to feel like you're in my living room. We're just having a conversation, basically. The name of my channel is Guitar Notes and Notions. It to me, it embodies the very mission of what this channel is about. It's about music. It's about things about guitars. It could be anything. You could get on here one day and get something entirely different, but it'll have the word guitar in it. But anyways, let me just bounce back to this comparison. While I'm doing the comparison, I will use, let's see, probably just a standard pick. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over to this, on the same guitar, a pick that's called the attack pick. Have you seen these things? Now, they're basically made so that they'll make your guitar sound like a 12-string. Well, I know they're 12 strings, but I just want you to hear what they sound like, what those 12 strings sound like when I hit it with this pick. It's really interesting. So I'm going to do that too. So you'll hear, and I'll tell you when I switch. And then what we'll do is you'll tell me of all those guitars, whether it's guitar 1, 2, or 3, and then I'll show you what those guitars are. Okay. So we will do that. So anyway, so as far as building this guitar, I went to a school to do it. Okay. And it was in Winters, California, a place called Art Guitars. And a wonderful man there that runs that place. His name is Al. And I enjoyed him so much. And he was so patient with me because I never went to shop. I knew nothing. I left home when I was 17 years old. So nobody ever taught me a thing about tools. I still struggle with it. I have some saws out in the garage that while I use them, I'm still a little nervous about them. But, the thing is that he took the time to show me, and it was appreciated so much because You had to pay to be there, but I took a little more of his time, I think. I was the needy one. But I did this right after I retired. I worked in hospitals, and I was a risk director there. I started out as a respiratory care practitioner and went on and got a master's degree and moved up into risk management, patient safety. And so I ended my career doing that. And so after that, I thought, hey, what I'm going to do next is, I want to build a guitar, when I'm retired. So I did that first. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to put this thing on mute here because it's dinging. Now what I'm doing is I'm enjoying doing this channel and meeting with all you. There's nothing better than to talk about these guitars. I enjoy it so much. So, have we got any other questions?
Someone wanted to know about an Alvarez. The Gospel of Mark asked the question.
Gospel of Mark, about an Alvarez guitar?
Yeah. Have you ever owned one?
I haven't, but I've played them before, and I think the older models are fabulous. I mean, I haven't played any of the recent newer ones, but there was a period of time when I'd go to the store and play them, and they kind of dipped from the quality that they were when they were, vintage. And then they may be coming back up again. I don't know. Seems like you can get so many guitars made, in China and Taiwan and different places, and they're absolutely wonderful instruments.
And going back to your guitar, someone's asking, Marcia T is asking, how long ago did you build this?
This is 2000 and see, I left work at 2012. I was 59. So I think this is 2012, 2013, somewhere in there. So yeah, so that's what I did. It's just really great, and it's set up nice.
Susan Lee wants to know, what age were you when you learned to play?
Let's see, I started out with violin in grade school, and somewhere around 12, 13 years old, I had a stepfather, and he came home with a guitar, and he just handed it to me. I didn't even know why. It wasn't my birthday or anything. And so I got that guitar. Then I put the violin up in the closet. And I never played it that much after that. I played guitar from then on out. I was hooked.
Frank sent you.
Oh, thank you, Frank. That was really, really nice of you. Thank you very much.
Yes,
that's sweet. So, any other questions?
Someone wants to know, can you introduce your camera person?
No, she's sitting over there looking, saying, no.
No.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, okay. So now let's just go through this 12-string thing, and then we'll come back. How does that sound? Is everybody good with that? Is any other questions? They're burning questions. All right. Okay. So what we're going to do, I've got to turn this up a little bit so you can't see me. There we go. You're just going to see my head. Okay, I don't want you to see the guitar because that's not fair. You can't peek, okay? Everybody close your eyes just in case I make a mistake. Let me move over here. I'm going to set that there. And we're going to start with this one here. And I'm going to sneak it on in here. There, you didn't see it, did you? Okay. You can't see it now. Okay, here we go. I hope it's still in tune. Okay, we're just going to strum it. Okay, you ready? Here's the first one. Guitar number 1, 12-string. Now we're going to try it with the attack pick. If you ever seen these things before, here we go. was guitar number 1. Let me quickly shift to guitar number 2. You want to grab that? My help is falling down on the job here. Okay, here we go. Here's the next one. Now don't peek. Whoops, you peeked. I saw you peek. Okay, here we go. All right, we're going to just strum. Here we go. Hopefully it's still in tune. Okay, so let's try the tack pick with it. Okay, now that's guitar number 2. Here's the third one. Then, oops, don't peek. Okay, here we go. All right, oops. Okay, one last guitar. Just sneak this one around here. Okay, here we go. I love 12 strings. Okay, here we go. Let's do that guitar. Here we go. Ready. There's the tack pick. All right. So there we go. Now put in there, give it 1, 2, or 3. And you can say something about it if you want. Thank you, Drew. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And JJ Allen.
And JJ, thank you so much. That is so sweet. I really appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So let's see. Do we have any numbers coming? I wish I knew how to do one of those polls. I know it's down here someplace, and then it would just add it up. I got to figure that out. What's that? So let me just go back here and see. So far, we got Bob says 2. Anybody else want? Susan says 2. Anybody else?
I thought Marcia said.
Don't be shy. Just
Canon.
Put your number.
That's your Canon is the first one.
Number 1 is the Canon. You like number 1. So we got a number 1. We got a number 2. Oh, there's a number 3. A number 2. So far, it looks like 2s are getting it good. 3, 2, 2 as well. Looks like 2 is kind of winning out. Okay.
There's another 3. 2 more 3s.
2 more 3. Well, maybe 3 and 2 are kind of, one is just seems to fallen out of the pack here. All right. Well, you want to see which one's which?
Someone said, Janie said 3 is Mac and Mar.
Oh, well, we're going to see. We're going to see. That's why I didn't want you to see the name. Okay. So number 1, are you ready for me to tell you? Everybody get their votes in? All right. Can you hand me that number 1 over there? That's that one that's closest to you. All right. This is the first one. Has Bolivian rosewood back and sides. It's all solid wood. And it's made by Mac and Mar. That was number 1, people, and you guys didn't pick it. I'm surprised. Yeah, this one's pretty much a player too. This one here plays really nice. Okay, so that was number one. Number two, it's the vintage. It's Takamine. This thing is from 1970, and yeah, this one's a really neat guitar. Isn't that awesome? This is a really neat instrument. This is from the lawsuit era. It wasn't really a lawsuit, but it was a threat because they looked and they were built just like a Martin. So, and it shows. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so you want to see the last one? Now you're going to be shocked because here you go. You want to grab that? Thank you. Here's the last one. For all you Taylor haters, it's a Taylor. It's a builder's edition, and it is a really beautiful guitar. It's real bright though because it's maple. So maple is known for being super bright. When you have a mahogany guitar like the Takamine, they tend to be more mellow. Sort of the mids are raised on it. On the other hand, when you look at rosewood, you're looking at the bass coming up and the highs. So yeah, so they're totally different instruments, really. And you would use them at different times, and you could hear this guitar and probably hear it in a different setting and say that sounds great. Same thing with the Macamar. It depends on where you're playing it, what you're playing it with, you know, the whole purpose behind it, I think. But I have to say the vintage Takamine is probably the canon. It really is loud. I mean, that thing is bold. It would cut through anything. Any other comments?
Marcia T said they are all really nice.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
really
bottom line.
they really are nice instruments. But it doesn't surprise me that most of you picked the Takamania. I thought that's what was going to happen, especially when I was tuning them up. Every time I picked it up, you could just hear that thing. I had put new strings on it, and it just took off.
Susan Lee said, which strings do you prefer overall?
Well, I have to say they all have different strings on it. The Macamar still has factory strings, so that's a really good point. It's probably not fair that if I change that out, I probably get more sound out of that guitar, and it'll probably have more sustain too. Because usually factory strings they're done. You change them out when you get your guitar, and I didn't do that with that. For the Taylor, I have elixirs on here. They're tens. I think it's 4710. And I remember, I think on the Takamania, I changed it out to String Joy. I don't know if you're familiar. They're a new company. They're actually made in Nashville. Again, I used tens on it. And so they're light strings. So I have different strings on all of them. But I like my favorite string is my always go to is elixirs for everything. But I also like String Joy.
Cat Bubba said, would you compare the Takamine to a red label Yamaha?
I wish I had a red label Yamaha.
Of the same vintage.
Oh, would they be the same? I'm not really sure. I don't know the dates that those things were made. So because they're vintage, would they put out the same sound? I don't know. When I was younger, I played some 12 strings that I could barely play, where that Takamine is so easy to play. I mean, it's amazing. It really is. I bought it. Where did I get that at? It was, I bought it at Greg's House of, was it Greg's? Is that his name? Greg's of House Fine Instruments in Montana. Yeah. And I got it for $250. So I got a steal on it. But it's a fantastic instrument. I didn't have to do much. Reason why I got it at the low price is because it needed work. And I said, look, I'll do the work. If you sell that to me. And he said, okay, you can have it for $250. So I brought it home and it needed, a few things, but it didn't need much. I mean, there's no cracks in it. There's some wear in the fingerboard. You can see the divots starting, but I just left it. That's no big deal to me. The main thing, does it play, and does it buzz? And it doesn't. It doesn't buzz. It plays great, and the body of it is in great condition. So the neck is really nice.
Drew Heyman said, Ernie Ball Earthwood strings are my new go-to strings. Silk and cloth and bronze.
Yeah, you know what? I know someone else that loves the Ernie Ball strings, and I remember them from when I was young. Aren't they the makers of the Slinky? Isn't that, if I remember right? Because you could really bend those strings. They would just really melt in your hands. I'm pretty sure that's the company. But I heard somebody else talking about those, and I haven't really tried them out since then. I mean, to me, they were, I mean, old, and so I think of them as being an old company, so that's really interesting. So yeah,
Chris, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but he says, I love elixirs. I got a Martin SC13 E special and replaced the factory strings with elixirs a few weeks after getting the guitar.
Yeah, that was a good choice. I like Elixir too. In fact, I like the polywebs. I'll use the nano webs too, but I like the polywebs. They have a little more coating on them, and the reason why is because when I'm playing, a lot of times I just get sloppy, in terms of being careful about the finger squawk when you're moving up and down the fingerboard. So I like that for that reason. I don't, I can do it that way, and it's okay. I can move my fingers up and down. You don't hear it squawking in the microphone or whatever. So so that was a good question. Somebody else put that out for that. So with that, let me just see how we doing for time. Oh, we got a few more minutes. Let me show you something else, okay? You'll like this. I'm gonna set this over here, unless there's another finger squawk. Yeah, good old finger squawk. And you'll hear it sometimes in the best of players.
Susan Lee is also asking, which guitarist has been the most influential on you?
Oops, my little Gibson. I love that guitar. In fact, I have it sitting right here.
Said guitarist.
Oh, what guitarist? Tommy Emmanuel and Doyle Dykes. I love their playing. They're fabulous players. Of course, we all enjoy players like Chet Atkins and oh my goodness, Glenn Campbell was actually a fantastic guitar player. So now I'm dating myself, right? But anyways, yeah. So those are some.
There's even like Charles.
Oh yeah, Charles. She was a kick. I went to see her, but now that she said that, who else? There was someone else that it came to my mind, just left. That's what happens with his own brain. You'll get in there. Okay, so this guitar here, I wanted to show it to you. This is a Coal Creek guitar. So, whoops, we got somebody. My help has got something to say.
Yeah, Mr. T. Dubay.
Oh, Mr. T. Thank you, Mr. T.
And he wants you to
play Garmin and Sungfuck. Oh my goodness. Let's see, I gotta think of one. I'm sure I'll get a copyright on that. Anyways, thank you very much. Okay, so I wanted to show you this guitar. And it is a Coal Creek. And I'm sure you never heard of it, but it's made by a luthier. His name is Steve Fisher. And Steve Fisher is a fantastic builder. And he's starting to build again. And you can go online and get his phone number if you ever want a guitar built. But he built this guitar with the desire to make a guitar in America that was at the boutique end, which this one is. You can see it is beautiful binding, beautiful maple binding, and this is all solid, beautiful work. But he wanted to do it at a price that people could afford, and so he still does that. But he started his work out. He was working for McPherson, so that's where he learned to build. What a great place! And I don't know if you've ever played a McPherson. They are fantastic instruments. So he learned there, and then he went on to work for Paul Reed Smith, PRS Guitars, and he's the one that designed all of the acoustics that Paul Reed Smith or PRS uses. So, but he's really interested in the high end guitars that he builds. Has fan braces, so his acoustics sound a lot like nylon string guitars, the classical guitar, because he uses that same bracing. But did you have something to say?
Oh, another Mr. T.
Mr. T is thank you, Mr. T. That's very nice. I appreciate it.
He's been a major guitar inspiration to you.
Yes, I believe that's true.
What about Coal Creek back-to-back country rock and oldies band?
Oh, that okay.
Coal Creek Guitars.
Yeah, Coal Creek Guitars. You'll see it, and I think if you put Coal Creek in, I'm not sure. You might have to put Steve Fisher's name in, because I cannot find. I can find his website, but I have a hard time finding one on Coal Creek right now. So he had stopped making these, but I had sent him an email just a couple months ago, and asked him if anybody was interested, would he be willing to build again? And he said yes. Just contact him. So and I'm sure he would give a really good price too. But his guitars are just beautiful.
Shelley Stewart says Roy Clark is another guitarist.
Roy Clark, yeah.
And there's Cap Bubba.
Oh, thank you very much, Cap Bubba. Thank you. Wow, this is really neat. So unexpected. Thank you. That is so sweet. I don't know if you all noticed, but I exceeded 5,000 subscribers in the last week. It's been 6 months, and I now have, I'm working on 7,000. I mean, I'm just blown away, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you so much. You have all helped me so much, and I really like it when you let me know things you want to hear about, because it helps me, because I'm trying to put out a video at least daily. I think what's most favorite is some of the teaching. I think people like that the most, but trying to put one out every day is quite a challenge. So it's nice to hear content that people want to hear. Nice to hear. Yeah, that's said right. Okay. Any other comments there?
Oh, there's a lot of comments. People are really not so much questions, but really nice comments. George W. wants to know what you think of the HPL guitars.
I think they're great guitars. I have one in there. Actually, I think I have two. One's not mine, but the one that I had was it's the Woodstock one. I showed it on here, and it sounds great. I mean, it's not the same, but it's not bad. And if that's what you can afford, you'll have a great guitar with a great experience, especially if you're buying a Martin. I think they're just great guitars, and you can find guitars at great prices right now. So if you don't have a lot of money, you can still find a guitar that meets your budget, that you can play and enjoy and learn on, or even play out if you're playing out and wherever you go with it. So I think it's a great time for buying guitars, as you can tell.
Kathy Lozano says, "I love your spirit and enthusiasm."
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I really do. I don't know if you heard that noise, but it's a dog. So if you hear any strange
And
groaning and
Mr. T, Zubia, or whatever, he wants to know if you played the Australian guitar that Tommy E plays.
oh, the Maton guitars. Yeah, actually, I had a Maton. I hope I said that right. But anyways, I was in at a guitar store in Lafayette, and Mighty Fine Guitars is the name of it. And I bought one for $1,000 there. I wish I would have kept it, but I ended up selling it because that's what a lot of guitars I have. You know, I buy one, played it for a while, sold it, got a different one, just so that I could enjoy, the experience of different guitars. And that was one of them. And I have to say, they are really, really nice instruments. Really nice. I'd like to own one of their 808s. Now that you say that. So,
Three Card Monty wants to know, did you ever own a Seagull?
yes, yes, yes. I just gave one away just recently. So, yeah. I like sometimes I'll get guitars, and if somebody needs one, we're going to make sure they're not without. And a Seagull you can buy right now at great prices, and I don't think I've ever played a bad Seagull, to be honest with you. In fact, I remember one time I went into a secondhand store and there was one laying on the ground behind the counter. I was so surprised. Oh no, that come to think of it, no, that was a Larrivee. It was a Larrivee parlor guitar, and it was laying on the ground. I think I spent like $39 and walked out the door with it. And now there's another guitar, Larrivee, that's absolutely fantastic. But I also found Seagulls in secondhand stores and different things. But I don't have one right now. I either sold them or I gave them away.
Uh, let's see, G-Wag?
Huh?
GWAG.
GWAG, whoever that is,
Yeah, Jack Pearson is an amazing guitar player. He and Tommy E play together quite a bit.
Oh yeah, he is fantastic. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh my goodness. Well, anybody that Tommy plays with, yeah, I mean, anytime, sometimes I'll just turn them on and I'll play along and learn from that. It's just so much fun. So yeah, I enjoy that. Yes, he's a great player.
Valerie Dinsmore said maybe some tips for buskers.
Oh my, the last time I did busking was I was a young person in San Francisco, and I had to go to, it was Ghirardelli Square. I had just hitchhiked in from New York, and I was young when I left home, and I was stupid too, but we won't talk about that. And, thank God he kept me safe. I wasn't a bad kid. I mean, I didn't get in trouble with things. I just needed to be away from home. And so I did it. And I needed adventure, and I got it. So I went to Ghirardelli Square, and I had to go and play before a bunch of people before they'd let me play there. But I would sit, when I got approved, I would go and sit. And if you've ever been to Ghirardelli Square and you walk in, they have these areas that are they're like arches, yeah. And I would sit in there, and it would create sound, bounce back sound. It was really good acoustics, and I had a lot of fun there. And there was some great players there that were playing at the time, but that was back in the 70s. It was so much fun. But I made money and I ate, so it was good. But nowadays it's totally different. And if I were to go out and play, even if it was like going with a Christian group or something, I have, first of all, a really good amp now. At that time, everything was acoustic. I didn't have an amp, but now I have one that's battery operated. It's made by Bose. They cost about $700. They're kind of pricey. But what I like about it is it comes with adapters. You can get them for your microphone. In fact, here's one here on this one. See that's actually made by Bose, and it's made to fit inside the Bose amplifier that I have, and it works flawless. And I first of all would get that if you could afford it, and then and I realized that's gets kind of pricey. But if you had some kind of an amp that was battery operated, be great. And that's the other thing, you're hearing that amp come back, and it is clean as can be. And the other thing is that I have that has adapters that'll hook right into your whatever pickup you have in your guitar that are also wireless. So you just go stick your wireless adapters into your devices and set up in seconds, and you're ready to go. Um, so yeah, it that it's nice to have good equipment. First of all, I guess I think that's really important now. So, um, any other questions or thoughts? You know what? We're running out of time. We're almost at 40 minutes. So I'm going to have to wind this down. If no one has,
Someone's asking about, do you prefer magnetic or,
the different types of pickups.
yeah,
Okay, so this particular
ISO?
instrument right here has a LR bags in it. And if the reason why I like this pickup, I love this pickup, I think it's fantastic, is that it has a piezo under the saddle.
Yeah, piezo.
And then it also has a microphone that sits right on the bridge plate. And so you can blend that. And when you do, it brings just a beautiful. It's just a gorgeous sound. It's so rich. To me, it's wonderful. So I like that. But I'll tell you what, LR Bags just came out with a new one that's called Hi-Fi. And it is neither one of these. It is its own sensor. It has two sensors that you don't have to shave down your saddle. You basically just put it underneath the bridge plate, and then you drill a hole for the jack, and it works. It is active. It has a battery, and you just plug it in. And to me, it's probably one of the most natural sounds I've ever heard. They're awesome. So I guess that's my favorite right now. I have recently I tried putting a sound hole pickup, a Fishman Earth. Um, I think Earth something is called, uh, and I think Earthwood. I forgot what they call it, but it's a single coil. I put it in my McKinsey and Mar little baby boat, and it didn't work because the strings were too close to the sound hole, the way that is made. So I had to take it out. So it wasn't a natural. It was terrible. So there's some drawbacks. I almost lost my microphone here. So there's some drawbacks to. There we go. To sound hole pickups, but yeah.
Lisa Black again. Would you select a different pickup for different shaped guitars, such as OM or Dreadnought?
That's a really good question. I mean, I have to say, I do think about it when I'm putting in a pickup because I've put in a lot of different pickups and guitars. But I think when it comes to this particular pickup, it can go in anything. I mean, it's great. This costs about $300. That pickup right there. They have another one. This one's called the Anthem, and the other one's called Anthem with some other name next to it. I forgot what it is, but it doesn't have the control for blending the mic. It does have the mic and it does have the piezo. It just doesn't have the controls. But then the other thing is like when I'm playing in church, I like to have pedals because it's very hard to amplify an acoustic guitar. It is so challenging. And I just happen to there's someone there that I just adore that does a fantastic job. And he can make it sound good. But I've been in places where if I heard myself playing, I would cringe and go dive underneath a pew someplace. So it's very difficult to do. So having the right pickups is really important, but having pedals or even a good DI that you can adjust I think is just as important.
Lloyd Taylor's asking, do you have any of your guitars with the K and K pickup?
I have used K&K pickups, but see, this was before they had the ones that had the controls for the volume. So for that reason, I didn't like not having that ability to make the adjustment here, that I had to go to the pedal to do it. And I didn't have a volume, pedal. So, so I guess I swayed away from it. Do I like the sound? Yeah, I think it sounds great. I had a rain song. It was a rain song guitar. They're made of carbon fiber, and it had one in it, and it sounded really nice. They're very natural sounding, and I imagine now they have a blend one, and also they have the ability. They now put the sound hole adjustments in it. I haven't tried those since they've made those additions to what you could purchase. Any other questions?
Um, Susan Lee is just saying thank you so much for your wonderful
Oh,
channel
you're welcome.
and informative techniques. I am learning more from you every day, and I've been playing since the 70s.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad.
And Darren Smith,
That means a lot to me. To me, it makes it worth it. That's the pay right there. Is unfortunately I can't see the lights come on, but when I teach, that's the one thing I enjoy so much is when you see somebody get it, and it just makes their day. It's like getting gold when I learn something. I love it.
Darren Smith says great format, really enjoyed. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. And thank you all. We have about almost, well, we got 90 on here right now. Wow, that's really great. Well, okay. So any ideas for the next live? Because I'm going to do another one, and I'll do another one coming up next month, probably kind of the third week again. Is this a good time for you? Is this a good day for you? Make those comments. I might have to read them after, but I'd like to hear. And then also, as far as content, what would you like to hear more of? Did you like trying to do something different? Like we did the Hall of Strings last time. This time we did a blind. You got any ideas? Was that too disruptive? Did it take too much time? All right. So yeah, let me know. I appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you all. And I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in this world.